Welcome to the Trails Committee meeting on August 16th, 2022. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7:32. We'll do a roll call vote. When I call your name, please let me know you're here. Satyendra Sharma.
Yes, I'm here.
Isabella Bogdansky.
Yes.
Tom McClear.
Here.
And Kat McKee is here. And for the record, Will Warren is also in attendance, but he is not yet sworn in. And Sam Stivers is an attendee. So, welcome everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so let's get started. I'm so excited to say I was able to share the minutes early. So has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from June 28th and July 19th? Any questions? And if there aren't any questions or discussion, waiting, then can someone make a motion, please, to approve both the 6/28 and the 7/19 minutes?
So moved.
Okay,
I'll second that.
thank you, Bella. Okay, let's do a vote. Tom McClear,
Yes.
Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Kat McKee, yes. So that passes, and I'll submit those tonight, and we'll be current with minutes. Yay. So number 3, we'll have to skip over. Will Warren was appointed by the select board and the last meeting, and he is waiting for getting sworn in. And once he is, he'll be a new member. So sort of welcome, Will, and then we'll be a full committee again. And I think most of you who are on Facebook saw the post for Isabel Murphy, just thanking her for her years of service. So that went out. Next, exciting news on the Aqueduct Trail. So MWA has confirmed an fully executed 8M public permit. And so we can now officially announce Nick McVoy's trail just before he goes to college. So we barely got that in. So I'm working on the map now. It will look something, well, I lost it too at the same time. So let me give me just a second because my computer crashed as I was trying to get this to work. Okay, so I'm going to share screens. Great. So you should see a picture of a trail.
Mm-hmm.
You guys see that? So some of this is getting cleaned up, but basically it's going to be a where is my zoom out? Anyway, so it's a short trail. So what we're going to try to represent here is we're going to show how it connects to the Burroughs Loop. We'll show the future connection to Weston Aqueduct, and on the other map it will actually say Weston Aqueduct. And then we'll show also some parking up here at Clemens and Nichols, because you cannot park on Pine Hill Road and you cannot park in front of the gate on the aqueduct where we're kind of parking for trails work. And then you can also park on Thomas Drive on the other side. So I did swing by on Sunday and did some quick clearing of the trail. Just it had grown up a little bit, but the drought is actually working in our favor where there's not a ton of vegetation growth. So it's still looking in pretty good shape and ready for big time. So I'll make the Facebook announcement, share some pictures. We've been kind of announcing it along the way, but this time we'll say it's open and we'll share a link to the map and things like that. And I'll reach out to my Southborough who's been asking about updates and let her know this is ready to blast if they're interested. So that's all great news. Any comments or additions to that agenda item? And that will be the last time we have that on our agenda. Not fun. Okay, next, Peninsula Trail. So last time we met, we talked about the public access plan is all set. So we received, the committee received the memorandum of agreement or memorandum of understanding. I think it's an MOA from DCR. And I recognize that it did not include the 9/11 trail that we had asked to have it added, and they were open to adding that. So I added a map and some description around the 9/11 trail. And Tom, you had some interest in expanding that trail, so I put 9/11 trails.
Okay,
plural.
so you did it so it goes to, besides a loop, it goes
I
towards the.
did not draw a map. I did not draw that part of the map, but what I've done is left it broad enough that if we wanted to expand those trails, I think it would still fall within the agreement's intent.
Because I was actually there today and stuff. The fishermen, fisherwomen, fisher people, they've been doing a lot of clearing to get to their fishing spots. So I don't think before it was really tough to get through. So there's 2 possible entry points that I was investigating tonight. So I'll do some more on that.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I didn't want to complicate or slow down the agreement, and
Yep.
DCR has been very open to working with us and allowing us to do certain things, even if it wasn't specifically outlined. So they sent the red lines back to legal, and we're waiting on that. I did give the select board a heads up that agreement might be coming in, and different from the MWA agreement, which was signed by the town clerk. This one will be signed by the select board, the chair of the select board. So they may need to review it, but I've asked if it comes in with enough time that our legal team, council gets to review it. Can the select board maybe at the next meeting, if there's enough time for everything, work with that. So that's good progress. And yeah, so, and about the Peninsula Trail, so we have permission from DCR to go ahead and the public can access that trail without the fencing going in first. So my second email to Beth at my Southborough is to announce that opening. And so we'll need to be clear about where the trail is, where you can do parking. I was kind of hoping to hear back from Sanofi because I had reached out to let them know. I asked them if we could access the parking a little bit earlier than installation of the crosswalk, since the public access is going to be available. So I'm going to ping them again, and maybe we can hear back in the next day or so, so that if they say yes, then Beth can include parking option for that as well, because that would be a nice addition to the announcement, and a worthwhile one. Waiting a few days is not going to hurt anybody. So that's good. I've reached out to Amanda Lewis. She had indicated that she could give us some feedback on the grant proposal. And she's on vacation this week. So she asked us to reconnect with her in August. I've done that and waiting for her to come back and get settled in to let us know what her feedback is of the application, just so we can learn from it for future apps. And then also I asked about the contracting, because we haven't heard back from DCR on the grant contracting, which is holding things up. I mean, holding things up in a regular way, but we need that to be in place first before we spend a lot of time, because remember, our time is in-kind support. So we want to make sure we're tracking that towards the grant as matching. So that's that. And then I think I can talk about the next steps. I'll bring number 11 up, capital planning and select board next steps with the crosswalks. So I can't remember, we met in July 19th, and so I forget exactly the order of operations, but after the select board voted to approve the ARPA funding, our next step was to meet with capital planning again, submit the crosswalks as another project. And so we've done that. We met last week. It's all blurring together. Or was it? Yeah, it was last week. So I submitted the crosswalks in 2 projects. One was for $15,000 for the Stony Brook crosswalk, and the separate one was for the Route 30 Central Street one. And I did it separately so that they could fully vote on one and pause the other as they needed to, because the bigger one is not going to be a slam dunk and it's going to take years to work out. So they did vote favorably to recommend the crosswalk for ARPA funding, which is great news. So the next step is that, and it was contingent upon putting an agreement, a use agreement, in place to ensure that if we're installing a crosswalk for money, that Sanofi agrees to allow us to use it for at least a certain amount of time that makes sense and in whatever capacity they can. So we'll have the general counsel weigh in on what his recommendation is.
Did we just ask the general counsel to give us a letter stating something like that, so they can just sign it?
I hope it can be simple as that, but I have to put a request in with Mark Purple. Actually, what
Yeah.
date?
But my mess, I guess the meeting, what I just said, we should give them something to sign, not for them
Yeah, no,
to
yeah,
create something.
yeah,
Push
no,
versus pull.
yeah, no, right, yeah. We'll make it simple and kind of pave the way. Actually, tomorrow is open council hour day, but I didn't submit a request, so.
No, this should be a formal request.
Yeah, that's how you get in open hours. You submit a formal request and then,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Bureaucracy.
Then you can go to the open meeting hours. Anyway, so that's that. And so that's good news. And then so next step is, and the select board has it on their 9/7, I think it's 9/7 select board meeting. It's on the agenda to vote on that money. So, and it's up to 15K, because if Karen can bundle it with other public works projects, the cost can come down. So that's ideal if that's the case. So that's moving along nicely. And I think what I'll do is let Sanofi know that that's where we're at with this. And so maybe if they see that we've progressed this far, it's not 100% in the, they may be more open to allowing parking before the crosswalk is installed. And I don't exactly know what the timeline of that is. We're trying to get through that detail, but I did talk to Karen and stuff, so she understands. She was going to talk to VHB, the consulting company, the consulting engineers, and figure out what needs to happen. So that's good news and exciting. Any questions or thoughts or additions to that? Okay. And fun recap. So Senator Jamie Eldridge had reached out, his office reached out to schedule a site walk for the Peninsula Trail. So Will, Sati, and myself, we met on Friday. The senator came, and his one of his legislative aides, Bianca De Sosa, came, and we had a great walk. It was a beautiful day, and we saw a snapping turtle, and we saw a coyote, and we saw a couple river otters, and so it was full of wildlife, and just like we had imagined, like we placed them there. It was very good, and it was, the senator spent a lot of time with us. It was a couple hours, and did the whole trail, walked all the way to the dam, and we talked about the project. He was interested in understanding what was going in there, and so that was a really positive experience. And I'll let Will and Sati talk about anything that you think would be beneficial to add.
I was surprised at how much time he spent with us, actually. And
Right.
he did walk the whole way, 3.2 miles. So
Yeah, it was great. And we chatted up about all of the things that we're doing here. And it was a good day. And it was great that he took the time, and it really shows, I think it was a very human experience, for the senator to be with us. So that was really nice.
It's there and back is 3.2. It's not 6 miles, right?
No, right. It's 1.6, it's 1.6 times 2 if you stop at the dam. It's roughly 1.9 if you go all the way to the footbridge.
Return trip, yeah.
Did you guys go up to the tower too?
The tower, the stone tower?
No, there's a radio tower. If you take a
Oh, no,
no.
we're not allowed there. Nobody's allowed there. We have to put up a sign that says you're not allowed there. Okay, so that was great. And thanks for those who could attend, and sorry you missed it, Tom and Bella. Okay, next topic is the DCR conference. So they hold a conference every 2 years, and it was kind of messed up with COVID, so I forget. It's in November, so it's usually a day conference on a Saturday, and they'll do like maybe a Friday workshop maybe a Thursday workshop, and then the conference will be on a Saturday. It has traditionally been about $40. Just and this year we have a budget, so we don't have to ask for attendance if a few people want to go. I'm definitely interested. This is the kind of conference, it's a local conference, so we have a lot of local stakeholders. You meet a lot of people that are involved in trails. They really structure it nicely. They have a lot of great sessions that are just very pertinent to what we're doing. So I find that having several of us go is very useful because no one person can be in all the sessions as much as we want to be.
When is that?
It is going to be in November, but I'm trying to, let me just, my computer crashed before. Oh, here it is. Let me just see if I can pull that up. Yeah, so it's usually the beginning of November. I think it went to a weird, yeah, I don't have it on me right now,
Oh, okay.
but it's November. So is there any, just taking a straw man poll, like any interest in? That's a will.
I mean, interest, but it goes to the timing and when it is and stuff.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I have interest too, but I don't know about 6th November is, I might be out of town.
Oh, okay. So once I'll find that email. It probably went to some weird email, and I will share it with everybody, and you let us know. I think the Trails Committee can at least, if it's $40, we can make a decision on how many can go. And if it gets to be that we all want to go, which is great, that's an option. I'm happy just to pull out and just pay on my own, just so we can save a little bit of budget.
As long as we're not, conferring on trail issues with each other, I don't think we have to declare it as a meeting or anything.
No,
We can all sit in different areas.
no, I understand. We're not going to be deliberating at the conference. We're going to be excited about all the topics, and yeah, so that's not a problem, but thank you for pointing it out. So that's that. And then Heritage Day. Heritage Day is Columbus Day, right? And we traditionally have a booth, and we traditionally have a really good, it's usually a good experience, right? So does the committee want to do the booth again this year? And it's helpful if there's several of us there. Sati and I, you and I were busy the whole time, right? Like we were dividing and talking to people. So if we had a couple, if 3 people could be there, that would be really great. It's just up to availability and stuff. And I know Columbus Day is a famous holiday for everyone to go away, but
It's Monday, right? Monday. 10th?
Monday in October.
10th.
I bet it's the 10th.
Yep.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, I started a new job, so I don't think so. I don't know if they have that day off.
You started a new job?
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Oh, well, we shall talk later about that. That's great. Okay. So, all right. So Kat and
I'm a TBD. I'm not sure. I just started, so I don't know what their holiday schedules are yet.
yeah, it's kind of hard because it's an interesting holiday. So, Will, I don't know if you're wrapped up with Rotary stuff, or is that no longer a priority?
Actually, no, I will be there either in a Rotary capacity or in trails. I mean, the Rotary, that used to be a big fundraising event for the Rotary Club, but because they've now begun to include food trucks, and we sort of lost our pizza sponsor, it's not nearly as lucrative. In fact, we lost money this past year, so
Okay.
I think we're going to decline to do it.
Okay. Got it. So yeah, so maybe Will, and then the one thing we haven't done, which is now we're thinking about it a little bit earlier, we could do some sort of raffle if we wanted to draw attention. I don't know if we could get a local business to donate trails related stuff. Anybody interested in anything like that? I would just need help doing that because I can't take on one more little thing. So I don't know if anyone feels strongly about, put your name in.
Who would you be approaching to businesses or something, or?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about trails related stuff, if we're focusing on that kind of thing, like a pair of walking sticks or, trekking poles or a walking stick or something like that, would it be REI, some of the businesses that would offer that type of stuff? I don't know.
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, right. So it would just take someone some effort to call around and see if there's anyone that would do anything.
Mhm.
And then we'd have to appropriately go through whatever needs to happen for donations, which I'd have to talk to. I can handle that with the town and figure that out. Anyone feeling one way or the other about it? I'm not hearing excitement.
Well, if you give me some guidance, I could go and talk to these. I need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, I can actually help you brainstorm some ideas and have a little script, so it'd be helpful to answer some questions or whatever. Actually, you know what I'm thinking as it goes into our Choate Fund 2022 grant, we could use the Heritage Day as kind of a springboard for our hike walk series that we have to do. And we could use the time, and maybe if we don't do the raffle, but we do, maybe we do a little bit of both. Maybe we could approach local businesses, like are there local massage places that would offer things like that, maybe to promote local businesses and not big box stores. That might be a different twist that might work. And it doesn't necessarily have to be trails related, but it would be nice if we tied that in. But anyway, rambling.
Just another idea. We could also maybe do something with New England Botanic Garden. I know they're always looking for like different ways to volunteer and get their name heard in the community. So I could definitely ask someone if you guys would be interested in maybe like having a membership in the raffle or something like that.
That's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
Can you run that, see if you can reach out and if anyone's interested?
Yeah, I can definitely check that out.
Thank you. That's a really, really creative idea. But we could, so if we do Heritage Day, maybe we could by then have like some of the hikes and experiences lined up so that we can start advertising it, and that could be a big, push, because we'll be talking to a lot of people and stuff. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are enthusiastic this evening. It's only Tuesday. Okay, so let's consider that. So it's August now. We'll need, and the good news is most of the printed stuff we have from last year, so we don't have to print that again and purchase that again. It was laminated, so we can just pieces. So each year we build upon our reservoir of stuff, so it gets a little bit easier each year. If I would just stop bringing more stuff to the table, to the tent, we'll be all right. Oh, the other thing is placement. So last year, Sati, we were next to Solve, which was super great. But we were at the very end of an aisle, which it seems good in theory, except we were really far away. Like there was you could drive 2 trucks between us, and people would kind of circle around and maybe miss us a little. I think we should be in the middle next to food, whatever food you want to put us next to, because everyone's going to go to the food. So if they go to the food, they'll go to trails. So it might be a strategic thinking.
Do we have a choice in that?
You can ask. And
they're going to probably have more food trucks as they did last year, right?
I want to be next to the bacon bar.
Well, I don't know.
Bacon bar and trails go side by side. People.
So what you're saying is we should tie you down or something?
You just give me bacon. That's what I'm saying. I like bacon. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Okay, Mass Trails Grant contracting. I already talked about that project kickoff. So I think this next phase, we don't want to do a lot, but starting to talk to our vendors that we had original quotes with, talking to Mark Purple, setting up a meeting with Mark Purple and Melanie to talk about the procurement process, and starting to get some of those administrative things in line. Not spending a ton of time again because our time is contributing to the in-kind support, but we want to go ahead and get a jump start. I think we should plan on having a kickoff meeting with a lot of different entities, and I'm thinking DCR, MWA, DPW, trails, recreation, maybe Tim should probably be there. And so a big meeting with all of these people, probably our trails project manager. I don't know if we have to go to bid to hire him. We might have to, so I got to figure that out. But anyway, so we want to have a big meeting, have a schedule set up, and so that everyone's talking to everybody. I haven't heard back from IT. We reached out to Jason to find out if the town uses OneDrive as a shared platform or not. So I'll reach back out to Jason and see, in compliance with open meeting law. But you know, if we could use something other than Google Docs, that would be preferred. But if that's all we have, then we have to set that up and make sure it's getting backed up and stuff, and then making sure everyone has access to it. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking about that. Any questions or thoughts on the big kickoff? And something after Labor Day, it won't be before. And it won't
It will be one meeting with all these entities.
Yeah, yep, yeah. We'll be very prepared for it. So there'll be handouts and there'll be a tentative timeline. There'll be, you know, because we have so many different entities involved in the planning of this. We want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Everyone has contact information. Everyone's talking to everybody, so that one party doesn't go off. Just like, you know, if DCR moves that fence, if they're not talking to DPW about the parking, the handicap parking, they might put the fence right where we put, you know, so that kind of stuff. So we want to make sure that that's all aligned nicely. So our next meeting will be a lot of dedicated to some of that planning.
Are you inviting Sanofi also?
Hmm?
Sanofi also will be inviting, or no?
Yeah, so no, they probably will not be involved, just because like they're you know, they're involved in the sense that they're donating parking, but they don't need to be involved in the planning of the actual the trail itself. So that's that. We talked about crosswalks and such. Oh, ARPA funding. I think we talked. Yeah, so the only next step is to ask the select board to do the last 15K. And I think at that point, we'll be able to stop going to the select board meetings, which I'm sure they'll appreciate.
Are you going to mention the Trails Summit?
Oh, I forgot all about, and yeah, I can certainly, the summit, the Trail Summit, we got a heads up. I sent that announcement out. We got it like a week beforehand, was Thursday. That was at Hopkinton State Park. And they actually had an ADA compliant footbridge that they'd put in. So that was interesting. Met a lot of people in the community that are doing trails, and I thought it was really great. We made an important discovery, which is after we connected with Framingham Conservation Commission, the commissioner has since retired and most of the commissioners are gone. So we have a letter of support from them, and they had agreed to waive some permitting fees and such for the NOI that we're gonna have to do. But now if there's no one there to remember that deal, we have to start over. So there is a planning director, and you know, he's the guy in charge of everybody on the commission. So we met him, Starkey, I think his name is, or something. I have to look at what it was. Anyway, an important contact we made. We just introduced ourselves and said, hey, we'll be in touch with you because we have business with you. And by the way, I'm sorry that your whole commission is gone. So it will just be reestablishing relationships and perhaps a few more meetings with the commission once they get back together again, to ensure that everyone's on the same page. But I guess that's not unheard of to happen, but it's, you know.
How much are these fees?
I don't know. I can't quote. But I have estimates and stuff. It was rough. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it just depends. We can talk about the details. Yeah. So that's that. Thank you. What did you think of it, Will? You were able to go.
I thought it was very good. I thought it was kind of surprising how often people mentioned ADA compliance. I thought that was great.
Mhm.
And you know, I would just point out that they had all the towns talk about what they were doing, and of course they called on the rock star first.
Who? Southborough?
Yeah. You, Kat.
No. Yeah, it was good. A good day. And yeah, So I think we have another bridge contractor that we can contact because I took a picture of the bridge manufacturer. Because that does have to go out to bid. So that's good to know who's out there. Next is shed. So I think I've made progress with shed. So I think we talked last time DPW was on board with doing a shed, allowing us to find a location on transfer station, perhaps not behind the gate, so we'd have full access to it. And I've been looking around, so I checked out Dex Plus. They're kind of pricey, pricey as in the upwards of 5,000 to 8,000 to 10,000 pricey. And then I did Eastern Shed in Framingham. They're also pricey. And then I found Skips. Have you guys heard of the Skips, the outdoor store Skips? Yeah, me either. And I think we have some options, so I'm going to show you here. And they do free delivery.
Is that the one on Route 9 in Framingham?
No, they have places. So if you're seeing my screen now,
Yeah.
Agawam and Sutton, and there's somewhere else. Oh, they have something called the Big E, but I don't know exactly what that means.
Where is that?
The Big E, the Big E is like that big fair they do out
Yeah,
west.
Big E, yeah.
But I don't know what it means. Like if I do in stock sheds, see how they have these three options. So I don't know what the Big E is, other than when I chose the Big E and looked at the sheds after October 3rd. So it feels like they might be using these sheds during the Big E. I don't know. Anyway, so they had some nice options, and I want to show you what I have pulled out here. So if you're seeing a Word document now, okay, great. So I wasn't going, we're just going for something basic, right? Not looking for a she shed or a he shed or man shed or man cave, whatever. But these are, these are what they are, and they are cute by default. So I guess that's not bad if it's not an eyesore. But we are looking for something with structural integrity and will last a long time and is putting taxpayer dollars to good use. So I was thinking 8x10, and I'm open to hear what you have to say. We don't want it too big. An 8x10 is roughly what I was looking at. And they have this in this 8x10 mini barn for $31.35. That looks pretty good. And
they come pre-painted and all.
well, yes, and I think they come so these are details we have to work out. Like, do they come pre-assembled? I thought that they did, because when I was looking,
These all come pre-assembled. They just put them on a
They-
flatbed.
Yeah.
They put some cinder blocks and they install it.
okay,
But
and they said they deliver all over Mass for free. which
They
is pretty-
don't do the cinder block and everything. That has to be done by the
You mean the
customer.
foundation? The
Yes.
foundation, yeah, we have to
Yes.
figure that out. That's going to be a big thing.
Where would this be placed?
Somewhere, well, DPW said they would find a location at the transfer station.
Uh,
And if not the transfer station, they might be able to find it at the cemetery. So it was just, they were going to look for a good location for us. Okay.
So DPW doesn't already have any sheds or anything that they're not using? Okay.
So this is an option 3,100, 3,135. I thought that was a pretty good deal. And that gives us room. So if we can keep it, I was thinking keeping it under 5 would be ideal. Do you guys have any sense of scale?
Yep, that's fine.
If we, I mean, it seems reasonable if we could. Here's an 8x8, a little smaller for 3,000. That might be a little too small. And I think a window is important. I don't know if this little barn has a window, because it's going to be really dark in there. And we're not going to have electricity. So we just need to consider like the maneuverability inside the shed. If it's an 8x10 and completely dark, then, the spiders, we won't be able to see the spiders to get away from them.
Well, if it's dark outside,
Well, we're not
it's
gonna
not
go
gonna
in
do
there
any
at
good.
night. I'm just
These are these made out of wood, or are they made out
Yeah,
So
mostly
this-
particle boards, I think.
of particle board? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Usually
you
that's what-
can't say that. You can't say that from the
yeah,
picture.
that would be
I have to
expensive. Wooden would be expensive.
Yeah, so, and I guess the question is, is it wood, is it vinyl?
It's
we
all
have it?
wood. It's textured 111 on the outside. It's the only particle boards would be for the floor or the ceiling.
Yeah.
And we
this
don't
is
want it on the floor. You want pressure treated plywood. I
Yes.
bought one of these just last year.
Good. Oh, good. Good. So you'll be our little expert.
Yeah, right
So
there.
Pressure treated floor system.
Right, right.
We'll call and ask a lot of questions. So, because we really do want something that's going to last. So this is the 8x8. It's a cute little thing. Here's an 8x10, a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, because it is wood,
Yeah.
proper wood.
Yep. And so pine board and some sort of siding. Yeah. Okay. And then there's this guy 8x12, a little bit
That
bigger
one's
than
probably
the
this. Yeah, we don't want something like that.
Nope, I don't think so. And this is one of those biggie ones. 8x12, a little bit bigger, but 3876. And it has 2 windows, so that satisfies the light need.
That one's good. Just go with that one. That's
I
big.
really like this one. It's kind of cute. Now it's a little bit bigger, 8x12, but it's priced nicely.
If
So-
Karen can put an 8x12, that's good.
yeah,
I
and
like
you
it. Let's
know,
get it.
what was that, Bella?
I like it. Let's get it.
Yeah, it's cute.
Done.
So we like this one.
Yeah.
So this is
If-
8x12 vinyl versus what is this?
It looks like textured 111.
Is that what did
That's
you
your
say that was?
outside. That's your outside plywood.
So which is going to last longer?
I don't know what's behind the vinyl.
See all these questions.
For the lights, we can use the small solar lamps,
Yep, you can put a nice little solar little thing sticking out.
Yeah,
Can we? Okay, let's hook that up. Okay, so something like this is what we like.
Yep.
yeah, this is good.
Great, wonderful. Okay, so this is like one of the big ones, so it wouldn't be available to October 3rd, which I don't think we'd like to get it done this fall if possible, but that gives plenty of time to figure out foundation and placement. And maybe DPW would be able to help us with foundation. If we could use crushed stone, because that's a thing.
Yeah,
right?
usually that is what they put
You can
on.
just put crushed stone, but do you have to cut out the ground and dig in and make like a
No.
square and then put gravel, or do you just dump gravel?
No, I mean, we did just the gravel.
Okay,
And,
great. Okay, so something like this, and if we could keep it at this price, that looks good. And so wonderful. So I'll start the calls, get the quotes, and we'll talk next time. I'll try to line DPW up and see if we have a location. I'll check in with somebody about like when we're ready to make these purchases, like the smaller ones for $40 and such are not a big deal, but the larger ones, I want to make sure, do we have an approval process of some sort that we have to follow? We have approval to spend, but do we have to do these micro approvals? So I just want to make sure I don't know the answer to that.
We'll be spending this with budget money?
This is ARPA money. So that first project that we had approved, the 12.5, was for shed, for tools, and for a number of other things. It was a kind of multifaceted project.
So $1,250 or,
$12,500.
okay, all
12.5,
right,
yeah. Sorry for not clarifying.
okay.
Okay, great. So that's the shed. And then trail maintenance. So I mentioned earlier, I went by the Aqueduct Trail just to clean that up a little bit. It took 1 hour, not a big deal, just because we were announcing it. I wanted to make sure it wasn't fully grown up. And then I drove by Deerfoot just to see that section. Will and you taking care of that with me the other month. That seemed pretty good. I didn't walk it, so there could be some overgrowth. Is anyone else aware of anything?
I just, like I said, I was at 9/11. That's fine.
Okay, good.
Hey, Kat, what's the name of that tool?
Brush
Your
cutter.
favorite- what is it?
Is it a brush cutter?
That
No.
tool,
Oh, the weed. Yes, the dual weed cutter.
is that
I
the
think-
name? So if I
Yep,
dual weed killer,
weed cutter.
thank you. I'm gonna be buying one for myself.
Yeah, it's called a weed cutter. So if you look up weed cutter or a grass whip, a weed whip, those two things should get you. They are awesome. And that's what I only took that out and I was able to get everything done. It's almost like mowing grass even, like it takes care of grass too. So, yep. So so let me know if you know of any other trail maintenance. I don't know if anyone went out on the trail since that microburst we had that Friday that, did such a
Mm.
damage to Deerfoot trees. I haven't heard anything. So let's keep
We
our
want
eyes.
to put it on Facebook, attention trail, just make an advertisement if anybody knows any trail maintenance.
Yeah, we should touch base with our adopted trail people, and the Heritage Day, speaking of which, is always a good idea to get more people who are interested. So Lisa J has been a loyal adopted trail follower or contributor, and she's always posting pictures and letting us know about trail activities. And Isabel Murphy said she would continue to be the adopted trail person at the Ladasquama White Bagley location. So, and I know Matt Bailey at one point was still a year ago an adopted trail. So we'll reach out to them, see if they still want to be, and if we have any openings. Now we have more trails, so maybe we can ask for more assistance and sign people up. That's always a great activity to have at the table. Yeah. Constitution Drive trail system. So I haven't done anything here. I need to reconnect with Conservation Commission agent, Melissa Danza, and see if we need to meet with Conservation Commission and ask permission to take that Liberty Trail under our wing and drop a map and start doing maintenance of that. And if they recommend any outreach to the neighbors, I know the neighbors have been taking care of it. They had reached out to Melissa to ask for some help. So I want to make sure the neighbors don't, they're going to feel ownership over the trail. So I want to approach carefully and make sure we're,
This is the trail around the little pond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's-
So we can start advertising that too. Are you talking, Tom?
No, I thought I read something on Facebook and I was just looking, Sulph. I thought they were talking about some kind of trails around there.
Yeah, Eileen Sandberg had reached out, and there's some Sulph land, and I have to look back at our email. There may be an option for connectivity, or I don't know exactly what, but yeah, there is some
And
Sulph.
I was just confused if they were talking about the same thing.
Yeah. Next is CSX contact for a discussion using the railroad causeway. So this topic came up at the Trail Summit, right, Will? And
Yep.
Everyone, was talking, a few good communities were talking about needing to find a contact with CSX, needing to find someone willing to sit down and talk. And it was a proposal made by one individual that the communities get together and try to do a collective conversation. There was an individual from Natick who had some experience, and he said he didn't recommend that necessarily because each community has their own issues. So we did speak to the legislative aide for Karen Spilka. She said she might be able to help. So, and we talked to Jamie Eldridge about that, if they have any contacts or, ideas of how to make that happen. And it really boils down to the liability, and what we're referring to is being able to use the CSX causeway railway as a rails with trails. So so we're bringing that back up, and this topic will stay on for a while because we want to try to run it to ground. And it really boils down to a liability issue. Pretty much CSX doesn't really want liability of people getting hurt on the trail. So my question to our legal counsel would be, what do we do? How do we work with that? What do town, is there anything Southborough can do to waive that liability so that CSX might be more willing to allow us to?
Did I mishear that there were already 2 cases where CSX had a shared rail trail situation?
I think you might have been, what they were referring to is more rail trail access. I think that's not Southborough's situation. So a lot of communities are trying to work with CSX on their shared use paths for old CSX lines that are no longer active. So a completely different situation than ours because we have an active railway. But that is a hot topic for a lot of communities who are installing shared use paths.
Only thing is fencing might
Yeah,
mitigate
fencing,
this thing liability issue.
I'm concerned about fencing only because the trail, there's enough room to walk, but if you try to install a fence and have a trail go through there, a train go through there, you're now pushing the fence all the way over. Like, I don't know if there's enough space for all of that to happen. So I don't know, even if people are using it now. So we'll keep that topic going, and maybe we'll get lucky with somebody. So, yeah. Next is accessibility inclusion purpose statement. Hey, Will, do you want to reach out to Isabel Murphy and see if you guys can make something happen, or I'll just remove this from I'd love to have something happen, or we can just remove it from our agenda until.
What would be the thing to have happen?
Well, I think it came up during our bylaw discussion, the desire to put ADA accessibility and such in our bylaw, and we wanted to keep it a little more generic. And then as a result, we decided we would do a accessibility and inclusion purpose statement, and essentially just stating the Trails Committee's commitment to accessibility and inclusion, and that, it kind of it puts an overarching, not a policy necessarily, but more of a statement. This is our commitment to, making sure we are focused on accessibility and inclusion.
So I would reach out to Isabella Murphy.
Yeah, Isabel Murphy. Yeah,
Isabella Murphy. Yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to be putting anything as an article. It's just
No,
a
it's just
statement of purpose.
a statement and we'll put it under on our webpage, as a declaration, basically. And this is what Isabel Murphy does. So she has a degree in this type of stuff. So she should be able to lead in a good way, but hopefully it's not a huge, it's a couple paragraphs. So it's not.
She volunteered to do this before, but unfortunately it did not
Right. And then since you're on SPAC, I'm going to nominate you. How about that?
Ooh, wow. If nominated, I will serve.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. If that doesn't happen, I still think it's important enough. So let's see if we can work together on it. Website updates, they still need to happen. They still will. They just haven't happened yet. And what that means is the project list needs to be updated through 2021. And I guess through 2022, we could do early 2022. So that's that. And committee roles, again, we can punt this until next time, but I think the next meeting we should come with our plans for, we were going to divide and conquer the hikes and figure out an approach to that. So if you can kind of start thinking about how we see that happening, and we'll need to, if we're going to publish or advocate for this at Heritage Day, then we'll need to have kind of a schedule. And I think fall after Labor Day, we'll be able to do some stuff in September and October and maybe November are the 3 months we can focus on. And then what we plan to do for those months, we can then pick up and plan something for, say, March, April, May, or maybe not March, maybe start in April, May, June, something like that. And we try to get all that done. Yeah, any other questions or thoughts on the agenda? Okay, great. All right, well, so then let's schedule our next meeting. Okay. All right, so after Labor Day, how about, actually, yeah, so how about the Tuesday, the 13th?
Looks okay.
That's okay.
Okay, so are we still good with 7:30, or do we want to try 7 or?
The 7:30 is good.
7:30 is good. Okay.
Yeah, 7:30 is good.
Okay, great. Okay, so I'll send out an invite for that. Thank you, everyone. And can someone make a motion to adjourn?
So be it. So moved, sorry.
Great, and second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bella. So let's do a roll call when I call your name. Tom McCoolier,
Yes.
Satyendra Sharma,
Yes.
Isabella Bogdansky,
Yes.
Kat McKee. Great, motion passes, and we adjourn at 8:21. Thank you all, and we'll see you on 9:13.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone, have a
night.
good night.
Night, night.